Hey Zen fam, finally back with the green screen. ah, ah, from the last video when you saw me outside a game, I don't know if you went to the full extent of the video, but yes, I have secured my PlayStation 5 with the headset and the HD camera, so hopefully if there is a share factor 2.1 or whatever, or 1.5 or whatever it is, as long as there's something like this that I make the videos with, now that it's going to be an HD camera, hopefully I won't look quite so fuzzy when you watch me on your big telly. So fingers crossed, hopefully this will mean a leveling up in the graphical quality and the videos will look a bit more spanky for you. I think I might have sorted out how the top of my head recently has been partially disappearing. So, and I think the colour palette I've got going right now is a bit better. Because I had to change it all because it was all going strange, but I think I've managed to get it to go back into something more resembling real life. So, let's see, before we launch into the video, a couple of questions to ask you guys. One, I've been toying with the idea of doing a Q&A at the end of the month. Let me know if you want that. Also been toying with the idea of doing a how the sausage is made video, i.e. how I make the videos for you guys. Do you want ones for how I do it on tablet and how I do it on my phone? Do you want one with how I do this? You know, when I'm with the green screen and everything, or do you want all of it? Let me know. What else was I thinking of? Yeah, so the Q&A and that. Of course, the competition. A lot of you have entered. There's nearly 8 of you have entered. But I still need those subscribing numbers to push up to 500. Otherwise, I will have to withdraw the competition. Anyway, enough yabbering on. So, as I was saying, so you all saw, most of you, I imagine by now, have seen the video, or at least a good number of you have seen the video, where I basically camped outside of my favourite game store to wait for my PlayStation 5 pre-order. And some of you on social media were going, why are you bothering doing that? Why don't you just order it online? Well, we all saw what happened, didn't we? Online was like, well, it was just a cluster, wasn't it? All the websites went oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And you know what? That is precisely why I took myself up to game to wait outside of the shop. Because I knew full well, from the way I've seen other products released in the past, that is precisely what was going to happen. I knew full well that the websites were not going to be able to take the pressure of all those people coming on at exactly the same time and all of them trying to click that purchase button. I knew that was going to happen, and the reason I got myself up to game but at 11:30 at night is because I knew full well that if I got up early, if I slept and got up early and got to game, Lord knows by the time I got there would have been a massive queue right down to the other end of the shopping precinct area type thing. Because that is just Murphy's Law. If you didn't do a thing, the thing happens. If you do the thing doesn't happen. But the important thing is, I got my pre-order and it's all sorted. Now, admittedly, yes, I did have to go to work after that, and I did a full day of work. And by the end of the evening, I was minced. I was done for. I mean, I'm 45, you know, doing a 24. It's not as easy as at 45 as it is when I was in my mid-20s, you know, and I would do an all-night game stream. Some of you have probably been here when I've told the Soul Calibur story. If you want to hear it, type down below and I'll tell you it sometime. So yeah, I had an innate sense that the websites were all going to crash. So I didn't use the websites because I knew they'd crash, but the main reason, the number one reason for yours truly to do that, sitting outside of a shop to make sure I got my pre-order, was not just out of the fact that I wanted PlayStation 5 in my life as soon as humanly possible, but also because I want to go to the launch night. However, with these two factors in mind, it's not turning out exactly as I want. For instance, over here on my side of the Atlantic, we're getting a week late. Are you kidding me, Sony? Are you actually high? Why do we have to wait? Is it not always generally been the case that when it comes to sales, that Europe has been much more supportive than North America when it comes to sales for Sony? Traditionally speaking, I mean, okay, yeah, the PS4 sold like hotcakes the globe over. But if you go back over the generations, Europe has been your most consistent customer, yet we get cut out. We gotta wait a week, which knackers the unboxing video. Now, if you guys still want the unboxing video, I will happily do it for you, but you tell me down below, do you want that unboxing video? And if you do, I will happily make it for you. In fact, I very much want to make the video, but I don't want to make a video that nobody's going to watch. So if you want to see it, I will make it, because I work for you guys. So where was I? Yeah, so the unboxing video, that's up in the air because I might not be able to, it might not be worth me doing it, especially if you lot didn't want to see it. And yeah, I just, Sony, what you about? And knowing full well that it wasn't, you know, that all the websites would crash and stuff. So yeah, I want to do the midnight launch. But with the midnight launch, there's a snag, because that means queuing up outside the game on the 18th of November, and that's my wee boy's birthday. As you can tell, as a parent, I can't really go standing outside a shop for X amount of hours on my kid's birthday. I mean, I love gaming, been one of the biggest things throughout in my life, because it's been there since I was in single digits. But that's my kid, you know? Now, some of you aren't parents yet, you might not get it. But some of you, all you have got at least a mum and or a dad. Imagine your mum and or your dad not being at your birthday when you're a kid. That would suck. So, chances are, I will be turning up to the midnight launch later than I would like, so I may not get that good position. So, the video might be a little less sparkly, but if it turns out the case that I get there and there's a big long line, then I will film the line and I will interview the line and then obviously join the line. So, you know, there are options for content. But yeah, Sony, you've made a mess of it. Another thing that you've made a mess of is messaging. Which brings me to the images behind. As you can see, I'll scoot out the way properly so you can get a good look. You see the PlayStation 4 version, limited edition of Watch Dogs Legion. Next to it, you see the PlayStation 5 version, limited edition of Watch Dogs Legion. Now, both of these listings are taken from Amazon UK. Now, I couldn't find ones on a couple other websites. Generally, Amazon prices are pretty much standard across the board when it comes to video game sales. Now, what you'll notice is both of them are priced the same. Now, we've all heard about how PlayStation 5 games and Xbox Series S and X games will cost more. But there'll be free upgrades if you buy the previous edition. So you buy the previous edition and you get that free upgrade that makes your PS4 version act like a PS5 version. Now the question is, on this game it's exactly the same price, but let's just say for argument's sake it was the 70 quid version, like we've heard from some next gen games to be, that is what they will cost. They'll cost another 20 quid. How do we justify this? Because if it's the same game but it just up-reses automatically, then why do we spend the other 20 quid to get the PlayStation 5 version? Would it not be more just cost effective to buy the PS4 version and have it, have the file update and become ostensibly a PlayStation 5 version of the game? Just happens to have a PlayStation 4 disc. Yet you save yourself 20 quid. It becomes even more of an issue when you consider how we're hearing that some of the games that were going to be very much of the new generation are now somehow mysteriously also going to have PlayStation 4 versions. Like the Miles Morales getting a PlayStation 4 version. Horizon Forbidden West getting a PlayStation 4 version. Now, don't get me wrong, it's nice that the people that are not going to be able to upgrade for what reason they can't upgrade for can actually get to play those games. That's lovely, that's nice, that's inclusive, that's community, that's great. But then why even bother printing the PlayStation 5 discs and charging people another 20 quid? In fact, you could even argue with that particular sensibility in mind, why even make a PlayStation 5? I mean, Sony, you said they believe in generations and they want to have a clear cut point. This is PS4, this is PS5, there'll be a little period in between, sort of like to move everybody over and for adoption and blah 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 blah. But here you are planning a game that's 2 years away and you're planning its PlayStation 4 version. Now I can kind of understand it with some of the games coming out immediately that you might want to have a little bit of cross-generational access. But a game that's 2 years away when you should be looking to be pulling away from the last generation? Now don't get me wrong, Sony's great for this. I mean, the amount of times over the years when it's gone from PlayStation to PlayStation 2, PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3, PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, there have been games that have come out on both systems. I mean, I clearly remember way back on when the PS3 was coming and there was a Need for Speed game where you could edit the look of your cars, you could change the heights of the spoilers and stuff and flare out the rails at the side and stuff, and you could actually physically mold the car to a certain extent, and you could do way more of this on the PlayStation 5 version, because at the time I was able to go up Princes Street, go to the game station right at the West End, go upstairs, and I had both of them set up and I could try them both out. Or maybe one might have been in a shop, but the fact that I was able to try them both out and I could see the difference. Not just in lighting, textures and all the rest of it, but there were more options on the PlayStation 3 version. So the question becomes, what makes these two different from each other? Are there going to be things that are on the PlayStation 5 version of the game, natively PlayStation 5, that are not going to be there on the brought up the PlayStation 5 version from PlayStation 4. And if that is the case, then quite frankly, hang on, just let me waggle my controller before my system turns itself off. If that's the case, you need to communicate this, Sony. Otherwise, for the good long time, gamers who are less educated on these things are just going to buy the PlayStation 4 version and not buy the PlayStation 5 version, and then all your developments with sound and DualSense and all that, which I assume are tied to these next generation versions of games, I'm guessing, will be for naught. And all your R&D money will get flushed down the lavy. Well, it's food for thought, isn't it? So, either there's no reason at all to get the PlayStation 5 disc of a game, or there isn't. Now, here's an interesting question. If you go to your PlayStation 4, if you still have your PlayStation 4 when you bought your PlayStation 5 and didn't have to trade it in, like your Shirley, and you buy Watch Dogs or whatever, we're just using Watch Dogs in this a thing because it's a game I want to play, and I've got the graphics on screen. But let's say you go to your PlayStation 4 and you digitally buy Watch Dogs Legion. Then you go to your PlayStation 5, boot it up, from the store, from your licensed copy, and wham, it's a PlayStation 5 version. It's like, I mean, yeah, okay, it's great for consumers and stuff, but what does it actually do for Sony? And what does it actually do for the actual game? How is the PlayStation 5 version of all these titles that also PlayStation 4 upgrades, how do they play? Why are they better? And on a further question wrapped into all of this, alright, we've got this PlayStation PS Plus Club membership PS5 malarkey, where a whole bunch of classic first party PlayStation games from PlayStation 4 will be available to PlayStation 5 Plus owners. Just boom, there you go, you have them. Now, I know a lot of PlayStation owners like me are going, well, I've played those, I've played them and owned them, or most of them at least. I know I can say that. It's like, yeah. But then there's other people, the new people come along and they got all those games, as long as they get Plus. The question becomes, do those games, when they boot up to your PlayStation 5, if you do boot them up to your PlayStation 5, do they get a next generation bump up? Do you get an even fancier, nicer looking of God of War? What's the game? I played it. The one with the androids. It's gone. Detroit Become Human. Does that become even nicer to look at? Same with Last of Us. I mean, we got Last of Us remastered on PlayStation Plus just a wee while ago, and that's the version that's going to be available on PlayStation 5 through this program. Now, Last of Us remastered looks a good bit better than its original. Does that mean it's going to look a good bit better again on PlayStation 5? These are important questions that are not being asked and not being answered. And I, for one, would like answers. And now that I've brought it up, I'm betting you would too. So, you've got many things to mull over, to type away in that comment section, or fire me a PSN, or fire me a tweet, you know. What do you think about all this? What are your plans for launch night? What's your first game you're getting? What disc are you getting it on? Are you getting it as a PlayStation 4 disc or a PlayStation 5 disc? Are you downloading it as a PlayStation 4 file to have it become a PlayStation 5 file? It's a mess, isn't it? It's the hot mess. But it's going to be really interesting watching it all turn out. And that's what we're here for, isn't it? We're here to see it all happen. Well, let's face it, there's every chance that Bojo's going to muck it up and we're all going to be back down in lockdown. So at least it's going to be an interesting fireworks show of it all going massively wrong to watch. God. I mean, I might not even get to go to the midnight launch because we might all end up in lockdown again. I've just got my new job that I really like as well. Oh, God. What a big bag of crazy. Okay, guys. I think I've gone on about this for long enough. I would obviously remind you to please tell people I exist so that they can enter the competition. So then they can subscribe to the channel. The 2 years come in a t-shirt. I would obviously remind you that, like, you know, that the rating, the favouriting, the commenting, sharing, the subscribing is all uber important because little YouTubers like me, we need that kind of a boost. We get likes. That helps algorithmically. Now, I don't like saying all this stuff. I mean, you noticed for the last year or so, I've not said this kind of thing on the videos. I've cut that bit out because I find it distasteful. But I'm really trying to make a push for 500. So, that's why I'm saying it now. Okay, so, video ideas, you've heard them. Let me know what you think of them. Typey. And I will see you in the next video. So, I'll close in the usual manner, which of course means flashing up the screens of hashtag support Scottish YouTubers, and of course, as always, nae bother.